he's losing and they're going to jump ship before they get caught. I hope that's true. But Libya is a country where Gaddafi and Gaddafi's tribes will support people against the eastern tribes.
What allows you to say like this, Libya is a tribal country, and maybe forever? No. World is moving, even in Libya. I want to give you a little information. In the National Council of Transition, you have 11 known members and 20 unknown members. Do you know why they are unknown? Because they precisely belong to what you call the tribes of Gaddafi. The tribe of Gaddafi himself. You have 2 members of the rebellion shadow government belonging to the tribe of Gaddafi, and you have 18 others, wait a minute, who are kept secret for security reasons because they belong to this tribe. So Libya is changing. You have a wind of a little wind, maybe. There will be some counter wind, probably, but a wind of liberty, of freedom, of citizenship, or whatever. I believe that there is a real... We were completely convinced that the Arab world was stuck into fatality, authority, and condemned to no democracy. They are giving us a great lesson, a lesson of universality, of values which we thought being only ours, and we should be happy, you and me, the 3 of us, together on that.
Then come back to Ben for a close.
If this really is a democratic revolution throughout the Middle East, I'm all for it.
But do you believe it is or not?
I'm all for it. I don't know.
Why do you say yes?
My concern is that we're in Europe of the 1920s, not Europe of 1945. In Europe in the 1920s, the Democrats really opened the door to the future. They got rid of the emperors and the kings and the aristocracies. And there was that great moment of hope. But then the extremists took over, because in fluid situations, the people who gain power are those who are the most organized and the most ruthless. And my fear is that these Democrats could open the door in various places in the Middle East, but that the others will rush in to get power, and they could be worse than the people who rule those countries now. We had that great moment of hope in Europe in the 1920s, only to see Stalin and Hitler and Mussolini and the like. And there is this danger here. I'm in favor of nurturing what we're seeing evolve in the Middle East, but I'm also in favor of keeping my eyes open. I'm not going to put my boots on the ground for a day and proclaim democracy to be the future of that part of the world.
Okay.
Can I add one point? I share your fear. You are right to have fear, but we can have also hope, and we can help the hope to exist and to incarnate. You say the empires. You have another example. You have the revolution of 1989. We had fears, and we had hope, and the hope prevailed in Eastern Europe and in Central Europe. Thanks God. Because of America, because of Pope John Paul II, right. And maybe Europe.
I have to go back to Ben. Ben, you've been listening to this, so will you just settle it for me?
There's no settling. I mean, this is something that the Arab revolutions that we've seen beginning in Tunisia in January is we're looking into sort of unknown territory. It's very hard to predict, but certainly what we've seen is this outpouring of emotion, of ideals that we haven't seen in the Middle East, in the Arab world, I don't think ever. And it's hard to predict where it's going. I mean, we should hope for the best. What I saw in Tunisia, what I saw in Tahrir Square in Egypt was something that gives me great hope. Yes, there's the possibility, for instance, in Egypt that the Muslim Brotherhood could hijack the revolution. But what I saw was thousands of young people who are not members of the Muslim Brotherhood, who are not even supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood, who have made it clear that their idea of the revolution was not to bring in some sort of Islamic state. Their idea was democracy, freedom of the press, and human dignity. So I think I'm fundamentally optimistic, but I don't think we should be wildly idealistic and expecting sort of roses to come up everywhere anywhere in the Arab world. It's a very complicated part of the world, but there's reason for optimism, far more so than sort of the bleak, stale, sort of rotten environment that the dictators of the Middle East, like Hosni Mubarak, like Ali Abdullah Saleh in Yemen, that was their promise for the future. So I bet on the revolutions when it comes to this current situation.
Ben Wiedemann, thank you so much. It's always good to have you on this program reporting live from wherever you are, and I thank you again this evening. My thanks also to my good friend Les Gelb, and finally my good friend Bernard-Henri Lévy. So thank you all. See you next time.